Let's be real. Privileged women don't start the year the way most people do. They are not panicking, hustling, or spiraling about being behind. No. They start with intention and from the belief that their life is worth building right where they are, which means that if you actually want to level up your life this year and not just talk about it, you need to start moving like a privileged woman now. Today, I'm breaking down the 7 ways that privileged women start the year differently. And once you see this, you will never approach a new season the same way again. Let's get into it. Right off the bat, whenever I talk about this idea of privilege and what a privileged mindset is, I like to explain exactly what I mean. I'm not talking about entitlement. It's not about what you have or what you don't. It is about how you decide to see yourself. I am talking about someone who has decided, I'm worth it. I'm not late. I'm not behind. My life is worth intentional effort. And because of that, I show up for myself and I expect good things to happen. When you start the year from that place, everything changes. So now that we have a clear understanding about what privilege is and isn't, let me walk you through the 7 ways that privileged women start the year differently and how you can do this now, even if January hasn't gone quite according to plan. 1, they release the idea of starting over. Privileged women don't believe that they need a brand new life to level up. Here's the deal. You do not need to start over. You need to build from where you are. Starting over rarely comes from a grounded, confident place of, I am really proud of myself. I just need to tighten things up a little bit. No, it often comes from shame, from the belief that you have failed, that time is running out, and that you messed it up. With starting over, instead of seeing things as they are and refining, you feel the need to overhaul. Say, for example, you miss a week at the beginning of the year, maybe workouts or routines or habits. And suddenly it's, well, I already messed up January, so I'll just start again in February. And just like that, whole chunks of the year get put on pause because of a few imperfect days. Girl, that is not the way. People with privileged mindsets don't operate from shame. They are actively looking for clarity. And so they ask, what's already working? What can be refined? What needs to go? Progress does not require drama. It requires you to be honest with yourself about your habits, how you're using your time and your energy, and what you're tolerating that's no longer working in your favor. Changing and leveling up happens not from constantly starting over, but from owning where you are and just moving forward from there. They focus on habits, not just goals. Resolutions and New Year's goals many times get a bad rap, but I love them. They give you direction. They give you something to aim toward, and having vision for your life is wonderful. It's necessary. But the problem is that people make a lot of flippant resolutions that end up being this big wish list of things that they think will magically just happen because the calendar changed. New year, new body. New year, new mindset. New year, new life. But there is no structure underneath. Privileged women do not treat goals like wishes. They treat them like targets, similar to how a company or an organization would do it. When you have a target, you understand that it is the structure that is behind the goals that puts them within reach, and the habits to get there that create change. A goal simply tells you where you want to go, but a habit is going to determine whether or not you're ever going to get there. Instead of obsessing over big, dramatic end results, privileged women ask, to get to this life, what do I need to do consistently? What habits would support this version of me? What can I repeat even on low energy days? Here's the deal. If your habits don't change and don't level up, your life won't either, no matter how good your goals sound. Privileged women build their year from the ground up by anchoring their big dreams into small, repeatable actions. And they don't try to change everything at once. They just make it repeatable and doable so that these habits can survive. We need them to last even on the busy days, the busy weeks, when seasons are not perfect. Intensity is cute and all, but it is consistency that compounds into something that lasts. They clean up their environment early. One of the fastest ways to shift your life is to shift your space, because your environment is not neutral. It is constantly shaping how you think, how you feel, and how you show up. And women with privileged mindsets know that clutter is not just stuff. It's noise, visual noise, mental noise, emotional noise. Every pile, every overstuffed drawer, all of that stuff pulls at your energy and attention, which means that instead of waiting for whatever to make it happen, privileged women start early. They remove what no longer fits who they're becoming. And it's not something that has to be done all at once, but it does have to be intentional. Intentionality means that you're not decluttering your home or your life from a place of guilt. So it reduces the thoughts of, I spent money on this, so I should keep it. Or I might need this someday. When you do it intentionally, you recognize what doesn't serve you anymore, and you start decluttering from identity. Identity is then going to ask, Does this support the life that I'm building? Does this reflect how I want to feel in my space? Does this belong to the woman I'm becoming? If the answer to any of those is no, a privileged mindset allows you to let it go without spiraling. I've said it before, decluttering is not about having less. It's about having what fits. Also, decluttering is one of the easiest ways to start seeing mindset shifts that are happening. It was something that happened for me. Once I really got into decluttering, I was really able to see, oh, these are the ways that I have been thinking before. These are the things that I have been holding on to. This is how it's affected me. And it truly was very life-changing. When you clear your space, you start to see immediate evidence of changes that are taking place in your mind and in your heart. Decluttering becomes a signal to your whole self that I no longer choose to stay stuck. This is actually a really good place for me to pause for a second, because this is exactly why I created my Declutter Your Life 2026 digital planner. The vast majority of women do not need more motivation or pressure. They need structure that supports their life. And so this planner isn't about cramming more into your days, but about helping you let go of what's keeping you stuck. Physical clutter, yes, but also mental clutter, emotional clutter, clutter in your habits, clutter in your routines, in your schedule, all of it. I've designed it to help you see clearly what is working, let go of what's not, and then create space for actual and lasting change. So if that sounds like something that interests you, you can check it out using the QR code on the screen or linked in the description below. They stop using discipline as a weapon against themselves. Privileged women know that you cannot bully yourself into change, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is this idea that we need to punish ourselves into becoming better. You talk to yourself in a way that you would never talk to someone else. Why can't you stick to anything? Ugh, you are so lazy. No wonder you're behind. You also use extreme rules as discipline. No carbs, no rest days, no grace, no flexibility. You overload your schedule. You start over every Monday or month or whatever. That mindset is not discipline, and it doesn't build discipline. It only assumes that you're broken. And privileged women, they don't see themselves as broken. They see themselves as building. Instead of asking, what's wrong with me? They ask, how can I support myself better? That slight adjustment might seem tiny, but it has huge implications, because discipline should not be about punishment or about proving yourself. Discipline is supposed to be a structure that serves you. It's putting systems in place that make the right choices easier, not harder. Privileged women understand that, and they don't choose routines that simply look impressive on paper. They choose routines that sustain their actual lives. So as a privileged woman, here's what I want you to do. Don't just design your days for your most motivated self. Make sure that you have a plan in place for the days when you are tired or busy or low energy. And here's the reason. If you can only maintain doing something when all the conditions are perfect, that's not discipline. That's a wish. It's performance, and it relies on something that is going to trip you up every single time. So as a privileged woman, you have to build systems that you can actually keep up with and be consistent with. And then change just becomes a natural result and a byproduct of how you're already supporting yourself. They decide before they're ready. Waiting to feel ready or confident is a myth. People with privileged mindsets understand that confidence and readiness are things that come after you start, not before it. And so if you are waiting to feel ready or certain or feelings, baby girl, you will be waiting forever. And so privileged women decide, I'm doing this, even if I'm scared. I'm showing up, even if it's messy. I am starting, even without a perfect plan. So many people try to eliminate discomfort before they act, which is why so many people stay stuck. Privileged women don't do that. They expect discomfort at the beginning. They normalize uncertainty. They interpret fear as evidence that they are stretching and moving into something that's going to grow them. The biggest changes started happening for me when I stopped asking, well, what if this doesn't work? And started asking, well, what happens if I don't move? I realized that I was way more afraid of not trying and guaranteeing that I would never, quote unquote, get there than trying, doing, going after it, and possibly failing. And everything did not magically work out instantly and perfectly. I have definitely had a lot of learning lessons where I have fallen on my face. But because I've been willing to go after things, everything in me has changed for the better, because every step I took reinforced a new identity. It helped me to see I am someone who moves. I am someone who follows through. I am someone who trusts myself. And I promise you, once you start doing that, failure is not so scary anymore, and you will be unstoppable. They treat their time and energy like valuable resources. Time and energy are deeply connected, even though they're a little bit different. Time is fixed. We all have the same 24 hours. Energy, though, is variable. It is influenced by what you say yes to, how you think, what you tolerate, how you rest, also what season of life you're in. That is why two people can have the same amount of time, but completely different results. People with privileged mindsets understand that time is limited and energy is not guaranteed. If you overspend your energy on clutter, overthinking, people pleasing, chaos, constant reactivity, then no amount of time management is going to save you. Privileged women are very intentional about their time and energy. Because of that, they don't spend either of them carelessly, which changes how they move. They plan their days with intention instead of reaction. They create space and buffer room in their schedules instead of packing out their whole calendar. They choose alignment over availability. They know that just because I can doesn't mean that I should or that it is right for me. Babe, burnout is not a badge of honor. You need to rest and have boundaries and understand that rest is not laziness and boundaries aren't selfish. Boundaries are going to protect your focus and your peace and your ability to show up for what really matters, not just everything. If you notice that you are coming to a place where you are starting to feel resentment, distraction, fatigue, or this constant overwhelm, privilege says, let me course correct before things fall apart. This is a sign that you respect yourself. And when you respect your time and your energy, your life starts to reflect it in your productivity, your relationships, and in the momentum that you're able to sustain long term. They trust that alignment creates opportunity. Basically, this just means that when I'm aligned where how I think, live, and move are pointing in the same direction, opportunities meet me. Privileged women believe this deeply. Not because life is always easy, but because alignment means that you position yourself to where opportunity can actually find you. Instead of panicking about timing or trying to force outcomes or obsessing over every single detail, trying to control everything, people who have privileged mindsets trust that obedience to the process creates momentum. This looks like making sure your habits match your goals, creating your environment in a way that it reflects your identity, spending your time and energy in ways that reflect your values. And when you move this way, things change, doors open, and not all at once, and many times not even how you expected that they would happen, but in ways that make sense once you look back. Opportunity is not random, it's responsive. It responds to alignment and it responds to someone who is willing to move in the right direction consistently without needing every detail mapped out first. And this allows privileged women not to have to chase after opportunities, but position themselves for them. Starting the year as a privileged woman isn't about perfection. It's about ownership. Ownership of your time, your space, your mindset, your future. And this year, you don't have to chase it. You get to step into it. If you are actually ready to live this out, not just hear about it, that is exactly what I help women do. If this video resonated, I want you to stay close because I have so much more coming, both on YouTube and offline as well. So make sure that you are signed up for my mailing list so that you are the first to hear about it. You can find it linked in the description below. All right, my friends, that is all I have for you. As always, make sure to like and share it with someone else who needs it. Also, if you're not subscribed, like, what are you doing? I'm gonna need you to jump on that. With that, I love you so much and I will see you in my next. Bye for now.